Have you ever wondered who the most dangerous drug dealers in the world are? The kingpins, the godfathers, the guys who built empires on cocaine, heroin, and human misery? These guys had it all: money, power, and a level of ruthlessness that's hard to even imagine. Before we dive in, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more intriguing content. We're gonna get into the rise and fall of these criminal masterminds, the impact they had on the world, and the crazy stories that surround them. We're talking about guys like El Chapo, Pablo Escobar, names that are synonymous with the drug trade. But it's not just about the big names. We're gonna uncover some stories you've probably never even heard of. Trust me, you won't regret it. We're going down a rabbit hole here, folks. First up, we got Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. He rose from humble beginnings in the Sinaloa cartel to become the most powerful drug lord in the world. And the craziest part? This dude escaped from prison twice. Once he even escaped through a tunnel dug right into his cell. El Chapo's story is wild. The DEA finally caught him in 2016. But let's be clear, this dude was bad news, responsible for countless deaths and untold suffering. The legend of El Chapo lives on, and it's a reminder that the war on drugs is far from over. Next, we got the OG himself, Pablo Escobar. He was the head of the Medellin cartel, which basically ran the cocaine trade in the 80s. This guy was responsible for something like 80% of the cocaine that came into the US. He was making like $420 million a week. He was so rich he had to spend $2,500 a month just on rubber bands to hold all his cash. Escobar wasn't just some rich dude, he was a straight-up gangster. He waged war on the Colombian government, bombed buildings, assassinated politicians, and even shot down a passenger plane. Eventually, the law caught up with him, and he was killed in a shootout with the police in 1993. But his legacy lives on, man. He's become a cultural icon, a symbol of the excess and violence of the drug trade. Chapter 3. The Lord of the Skies, Amado Carrillo Fuentes. He was known as the Lord of the Skies because he had a fleet of over 27 private jets. This dude was moving cocaine by the ton, literally flying it over borders like it was nothing. He was a master of logistics, a genius at smuggling. He even had his planes modified to carry more weight and evade radar. The DEA was constantly trying to track him down, but he was always one step ahead. He believed in bribing officials rather than killing them, which made him incredibly effective. In 1997, he died during plastic surgery to change his appearance. Some say he faked his own death, but his body was found, so who knows. The story of Amado Carrillo Fuentes is a perfect example of how the drug trade adapts and evolves. Chapter 4. The Black Widow Griselda Blanco. This woman was a true OG in the game, one of the first to make it big in the cocaine business. She was a pioneer, but she was also ruthless, cunning, and utterly terrifying. Blanco was a product of the slums of Medellin, Colombia. She learned to hustle from a young age, and she quickly rose through the ranks of the drug trade. She wasn't afraid to get her hands dirty. In fact, she reveled in the violence. She was known for her innovative smuggling techniques, like using women's underwear and baby clothes to hide cocaine. She built her empire in Miami during the 1970s and 80s, when the city was practically drowning in cocaine. She was arrested in 1985 and spent nearly 2 decades in prison. After she was deported to Colombia, she was gunned down by assassins in 2012. It was a fitting end for a woman who lived by the sword and died by it. Chapter 5. The Harlem Godfather, Frank Lucas. Frank Lucas inspired the movie American Gangster. He built his empire by cutting out the middleman, smuggling pure heroin from Southeast Asia during the Vietnam War, using coffins of dead American soldiers, called the Cadaver Connection. His blue magic heroin flooded Harlem. Busted in 1975, his story became legendary. Outro: The Legacy of Drug Lords. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments who you think is the most dangerous drug dealer of all time. These are just a few of the most dangerous drug dealers in history. Their stories are fascinating, terrifying, and ultimately tragic. These men and women were driven by greed, power, and a complete disregard for human life. They left a trail of destruction in their wake, destroying countless lives with their product. It's important to remember that the drug trade is still alive and well. There are still people out there who are willing to do whatever it takes to make a profit, even if it means putting other people's lives at risk.